late good evening. This begins a new day or session of reading. Before I started recording here, I re-watched my videos up until now, and I will just summarize quickly. Revelation 4 as a whole, as a chapter, is really talking about the scenery of the throne, and Revelation 5 is talking about the ceremony of the opening of the book. Forgive the poor terminology. It's hard. Revelation is certainly hard to capture. Revelation chapter 6 is the opening of the seals 1 through 6. So the Lamb is proceeding to open the seals. When he opens the first one, John hears thunder. And the first seal is associated with a white horse. And it's interesting that the horse is defined first, because in fact there is a man that sits on the white horse. First seal, white horse. A man sitting on it. He has a bow, a crown. Once again, I need to study the significance of crowns, as it comes up a lot. And this horse goes forth conquering and to conquer. Wouldn't it be great to have a chart with the seals and the horses and the significance, conquering and to conquer? The next verse is the opening of the second seal, and it's associated with a red horse going out. Going out of where? Heaven? And there's also a man sitting on him. It doesn't say that he had a crown, but it does say that he had a great sword. And he's to take peace from the earth, and that everybody should kill one another. So just to backtrack, this first white horse seems like one associated with war and things like that, but, well, not really compared to the next one that comes, which is really violent. People kill each other. He's given a great sword, and it's to take peace from the earth, and that's the red horse. And the third seal is then opened, and I guess all the beasts are kind of remarking in succession. So one of the four beasts, the second beast, and now what, the third beast. So anyway, the third seal is associated with a black horse. Again, it's someone's riding it, and him that is riding has a pair of balances in his hand. I'm just noticing this now because I'm studying it. So at first you've got a crown, then a great sword, then a pair of balances. White So white, red, and black. And then the next one, oh, okay, well still this black one with a third seal. There's a remark from a voice, I don't know if that's an angel or who, and it's talking about, how do I summarize this? Well, first I will read, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And one of the 4 beasts seems to be saying that. It's not clear which one. Or it could be from somewhere else as well. This is kind of concerned with the prices for things. So, I don't know. Fairness in commerce, I don't know how that would even be summed up. But do not hurt the oil and the wine. And what does this mean? This certainly has biblical reference elsewhere. Like, I need to look it up, but oil and Christ, I think the 2 words can be related. And then wine is kind of connected with having new wine, and there's the parable of those who have new wine and preferring it to the old and things like that, and being filled with new wine. Well, I would think that that's sort of talking about the Holy Spirit. So could this be talking about Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit somehow? I'm not sure. So next is a pale horse, and that's associated with the 4th seal, and the guy sitting on that was death, and hell followed with him, so he's got an entourage. Now, is hell a geographical term, or is it like the population of hell followed with him? And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So this pale horse is associated with death, and it's pretty violent as well. It will kill with the sword, but also with hunger, which to me sounds even worse. And it's related with the beasts of the earth. And what stood out to me here, oh yeah, he has power over the 4th part of the earth. What on earth is the 4th part of the earth? Sorry, won't make jokes. Next, the 5th seal is opened, and this is associated with the altar, and under the altar are souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And their story can be discerned through the way they cry aloud. O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So this sort of evidences that maybe those who were under the altar had died violently at the hands of them that dwell on the earth. And I dwell on the earth myself, so earth dwellers, should they be worried? once again, the fifth seal is associated with the altar of souls that lament over having their blood avenged from those that dwell on the earth. These souls under the altar have white robes. Notable, I believe, that the vision that John has, I think it's Jesus Christ, but it's not entirely specific to name him. He also had a white robe. Anyway, those the souls under the altar are given white robes, and they are told to rest for a little season. So they're just kind of waiting until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Servants has come up already. Jesus Christ has a revelation, and it's to be sent to his servants and John's servants. That can be worked on a little bit, what I just said, if I go back and look up those verses. Okay, next, the sixth seal is opened, and this causes a great earthquake. The sun becomes black, and the moon becomes as blood. Stars of heaven, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. So this is a vision. So is this to come? That's as I tend to read it. And it describes as fig trees drop their figs. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. I can only speculate as to what it looks like when heaven is departed as a scroll. But it looks like mountains and islands. Geography is just displaced. It has different types of people, but this is in an effort to summarize, so it seems like all men, almost all men, are hiding themselves in dens and in the rocks of mountains. And why? Well, they want to be hidden from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? That's the wrath of the Lamb. Well, that's the end of this chapter. Chapter 7 is demanding. I just read it. Okay, I just skipped ahead to Revelation chapter 8. And this is when the seventh seal is opened. But I won't get too carried away. I won't get ahead. So in Revelation 7, no seal is opened. Again, I don't want to use, for lack of a better terms, but climactic. This is building to the opening of the last seal. And maybe I could surmise that Revelation 7 is really just that of building up to the opening of the last seal, which is in the next chapter. Okay, I'll try to just in my own words. So, before I can understand this first verse, I'll have to accept the premise, and I don't challenge anything. I'm not doing that. But the premise that there are 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, and they are responsible for the winds of the earth. And after the opening of the first 6 seals, these angels are going to withhold their 4 winds of the earth, and they're not going to blow on it. Not on the earth, not the sea, or any tree. Interesting that there's trees. Like, I think historically in the Old Testament there's big trees and things. That's a different tangent. I will read this second verse. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, and to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So this says a lot. So, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Well, might be time to go look up how the word whom is used in the English language. It seems like it's not quite known the way it's written. But there was power given to one of the horses or the horsemen to hurt the earth and the sea. So, is this angel from the east having the seal of the living God? I should come back to that too. Who's he speaking to? Who's he halting from hurting the earth and the sea? Who is this angel in the east speaking to? He's talking to the other angels. And this angel in the east, who controls one of the winds, has the seal of the living God. So, what type of seal is this? Is this like one of the 7 seals? Or is this kind of like the seals in the forehead of God's name? This type of seal? Because it seems like that, having the seal of the living God. It continues in verse 3. Angel of the east says, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So this elaborates on what these seals are. The whole purpose of the book of Revelation is to be sent to the servants of John and Jesus Christ. And these angels are responsible for sealing these servants of our God in their foreheads. And I won't try and just speak plainly what I think when I read that, but a jar is sealed. When something is sealed, it can't be penetrated. It's contained. And where are they sealed? The servants of our God, they're sealed in their foreheads. The foreheads, well, to me that's associated with the mind. That's where the mind is. So to be sealed, it's almost like their minds are contained in a way. So as much as I really want to think that one through. Verse 4, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So it's the children of Israel that are sealed. And I feel that I can, with the intent of summarizing, I feel that I can skip over these next bunch of verses because it's saying that each of these tribes of the children of Israel have about 12,000 individuals sealed each. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, and palms in their hands. So their hands are together, maybe. Like, to me, if your palms are in your hands, you're praying, maybe. But anyway, this great multitude is interesting because there's a number up here that actually says the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, and that was 144,000. So this great multitude is that inclusive of that number and what's included in the great multitude. This is neat because this is John to the 7 churches, and this is John who's accounting for this vision he's seeing. Oh, wait, I better stop from saying what I was about to. Hold on. Okay, no, maybe I was right. So, like, this seems like John speaking. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude. So this seems like probably John talking. And then in this next verse, it's still John talking. If you pause and read it and study it. And he cries himself with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. It's just interesting because up until this point, John is sort of a passive viewer of this vision, and here he's kind of giving his input and reacting to everything that he's seen in this vision. And what does he say? Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne and unto the Lamb. What does that mean? I mean, that's what I began to think. Salvation to our God. Well, that implies that God was not, or was in some state that required salvation. So I don't know how that works. And if he's sitting on the throne, is he like restored to the throne? And why wasn't he on the throne? I'm not saying he was never off the throne so that he could be restored. Maybe that's incorrect to say. After all, the way the previous chapters read, he's on the throne. So maybe he's always been on the throne, but somehow there's some type of salvation to our God which sitteth upon the throne. And so I guess if I think of the setting and that picture of the throne of God as it's depicted, which I had on the screen several videos ago, kind of at that scene again, and the elders, 4 beasts, angels, they fall on their faces and worship God. And not to reduce it, but there's a blessing that they say. And then this verse is one of the elders, I assume, speaking unto me, who's John. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? So this is interesting, as it's almost implicit to previous happenings. Okay, I'll try to say what comes to mind. So Jesus Christ talks about saving and salvation, and so I know salvation is even offered unto the Gentiles and things. So this elder, who I've come to learn are surrounding the throne, and so they're probably, if I'm correct, in heaven. This elder is now seeing all these new people who are arrayed in white robes, which has been significant as I've read so far, and that's worth sort of like finding the reference and piecing that one together. And whence came they? They seem to be the servants of Christ. And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. So maybe it's more like a rhetorical question, or rhetorical for the sake of the audience to which John is writing. So me, people reading it. So, and I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Sorry, it says, And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, okay, so this elder is asking a question which he already knows the answer to, but as is, to me, like a technique, and I'm not reducing this to a play or a fiction, no, but like when you sort of ask a rhetorical question out loud, it's to teach the audience something. And these servants have come out of great tribulation and washed their robes, so they've maybe like reformed themselves, repented, cleansed themselves, had their sins washed away, and made the robes white, and maybe their sins were washed away by the blood of the Lamb. And it elaborates on this. Therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. That's God. So, this next two verses are really great, really hopeful messages. Perhaps even one of my favorite parts of this book. Oh, certainly it is. Perhaps even one of my favorite parts of the Bible, because it's a very promising, happy ending type of prophecy. I don't even know the word, but I will read. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them into living fountains of waters, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. This makes me think of Psalm 23. It means all their tribulation will go away. Now, as to who these people are, yes, it's explicit. It says that they're the children of Israel. The different tribes, 12,000 of each, 144,000 altogether, that have been saved, or they washed their robes and made them white because of the blood of the Lamb. That's who these people are. But in fact, who are these people? How's that related to the current population of the earth? Who are the children of Israel? That's not rhetorical. I don't know. I'd like to know. Now, particularly in Bible books beyond the Gospels, Paul's epistles, and much elsewhere, tribulation is an idea. That's almost a tangent that could be searched upon of itself. Tribulation and being a servant of Christ and things like that. And it kind of comes up. To me, it's what I think about. Because here, it says they shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more. They're not going to get scorched by the sun. So yes, I like this. I'm really tired. I'm going to leave it here for now. So this was chapter 6 and 7 in one video.